There are many things that happened during the Vietnam War, but one thing's for sure is that there is one documentary that I have watched, and it has to do with specifically Ben and how he was missing in action. And yes, this is the first time I'm ever making a video on a history topic, which I haven't really done that much research of, if I'm going to be honest with y'all. Because towards the end of the school year, we were learning about the Vietnam War, but we never really got into it that much. Basically, for those of you guys who don't know, if I remember correctly, because I'm not really a history buff, the Vietnam War has to do with North Vietnam and South Vietnam, which the North Vietnam part of it has to do with the Viet Cong. It is a war that is also known as the First Living Room War, because it was so small that it took place on a small island, if I'm correct, in Afghanistan. There's been numerous operations that have happened during this time, such as the most famously known as Operation Ranch Hand and Operation Rolling Thunder, and I believe Operation Desert Storm is a part of it. Anyway, numerous operations have happened during this time. Some, if not a majority of soldiers, have died in the Wounded Battle. I'm literally just trying to go into the history of the Vietnam War to the top of my head, which I'm going to be honest, I never did enough research of this, but I'm just going off from what I've known. During my US2 class, I was learning about a subject called the Korean War. I learned about the Korean War way before the Vietnam War, so if I remember correctly, the Korean War has to do with just North Korea and them trying to, I guess, bomb stuff. I'm very uneducated. I learned about various terms like DMZ, which means demilitarized zone. I learned about South Korea and how South Korea, it's supposed to be safer than North Korea because then we have all these dictators in place within North Korea. Oh my god. Just to really go into specifics, what do I know? Okay, I'm going to try to explain the Korean War like I'm an idiot. Basically, you have all these dictators, right? You have Emperor Hirohito, and then you have Emperor Kim Il-sung. Then you have... I'm actually stupid. Anyway, a full-on history buff can explain this to me, because I did not study enough history to even go into this topic. When it comes to just about anything in history, you have to look at it from all aspects instead of just one-sided thing. History repeats itself, and history goes on and on and on forever. And history only continues that so many things have actually happened. There's also alternate history. We have good and bad history that has happened in the world. We have topics such as the Battle of Verdun or the Battle of D-Day, or we have topics in history such as the American Revolution or the French Revolution or something like that. We have world history topics that have to do with the Crusades, and we have the first civilization, and we also have topics that talk about ancient Egypt and a bunch of other stuff. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, me sound like an idiot again. First, we have world history. Then we have American history, or US1. Then we have US2. And then I believe we have... Anyway, yeah. In most schools, they can't really cover everything in history because so much has happened in history when we think about it. When I think of US1 or American history, I think of the founding fathers of America, how America gained independence and how it was 1776 and why we have the founding fathers and why the United States is born as a whole. I think about concepts in history like the Monroe Doctrine, which was by James Monroe. I think about topics in history such as the Boston Tea Party and how I believe the British just dumped all the tea in the sea, but I don't know why they did that. We have other topics such as the Whiskey Rebellion, or we have abolitionism, we have the Civil Rights Movement. We also have topics such as, if I'm correct, the Civil War. But the thing is, I'm very educationally stupid, and me trying to explain all this without doing prior research makes me sound even more stupid. We also learn about things such as the Holocaust, World War II, and if I remember correctly, right, it took place after World War I. One of the leading causes, I want to say, of World War I, and I could be wrong when saying this, is one of them being the death, as we all know, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, with him getting assassinated. And there's been many other causes prior to this, not just one. Many. World War I it's known as the Great War because it happened everywhere in the world. World War II, on the other hand, it's only happened in Germany. We had events in place that happened such as Pearl Harbor, but that's the only one I remember. So many other things that have happened during this time. If I'm going to be correct, it was when Germany was trying to become a unified country. And speaking of which, I have a history award for my school. Don't know why I have it, because I'm explaining all this wrong, and I'm very well aware of it. When I think of World War II, I just think of, oh, it's just the Holocaust, but it's not. That happened later. There is a novel that I used to read in school called Night, which literally has to do with the Holocaust and, of course, topics in the Holocaust and events that happened like the Night of the Long Knives, the Kristallnacht, Jewish synagogues being burnt down, See, when it comes to stuff like the Holocaust, I just think of, oh, yeah, Jews were just murdered. But no, so much other stuff has happened. See, when people think of the Holocaust, they just think, oh, concentration camps, Auschwitz, that's it. It's not just that. It was majority of groups of people, not just Jewish people, but a majority of them were being targeted. And I forgot what they were. I'm also very well aware of the idea that it's a tragic time in history. Let's just say that. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. I was just going on a little talk about things that I think I know about history, but I don't have the full context of. The main focus of this video is a novel a parody novel, right? A so-called parody novel that I made that just basically has to do with me bring into like concepts of what I think of the Vietnam War in my eyes. And yes, this is nothing to joke about, obviously. Stuff like this is not a joking matter. So if you are offended by any of the stuff that I'm going to say and that I'm going to talk about and that how I'm going to react, if you are offended to this kind of content because it is satirical, I want to say, it's known as, it's meant for like entertainment purposes so people can get like a laugh at it, but it's not. If you are not okay of watching content like this, please click off the video and YouTube might take this down. I'm not too sure. They might take down this video because I might be spreading misinformation, or I may say things that are out of context, because a lot of the times I do say a lot of things that are out of context. As far as to what those things are, I can't really tell you. But without further ado, if you guys stick around this long, I just want to say, enjoy the video. So over the winter break, as I just mentioned, I decided to write a short novel. Now, what short novel exactly? I'm glad you asked, because it's the novel that I talked about writing that is set in the Vietnam War. This is what the Vietnam War is by definition. A novel about Ben and how he is missing in action, all because of some stupid Magnitiles. Along with this comes a twist. People thought maybe Ben was somehow shot by Magnitiles. Well, in the transcript it says Magniphiles, but you get what I mean. But we don't know for sure if he was shot by Magnitiles. Obviously, the Vietnam War was a war that was very tragic and cost thousands, if not millions of soldiers' lives. What's interestingly enough is that I actually made this novel when I was on vacation all the way to Mexico. I had the entire novel typed out. Like I wrote like maybe 50 pages. I wrote 50 pages of concepts and abstract ideas of what I thought what the Vietnam War could be. And based off of the stuff I've watched from the documentary, but again, just not getting the full context and understanding of what the war actually was. But I'm so mad because I thought I had the novel with me and I thought it did not get deleted because I did it off of Samsung Notes. Sadly, it's gone. I'm so mad that I don't have that novel because I would have loved to get into it, and I would have loved to make fun of and parodize on how much the Vietnam War wasn't that bad after all. Even though it was, and it's not a joking matter, like I said. It's just a bunch of stupid information that I wrote down. But I want to make a video about it. But I don't have the novel because it's gone. There's gotta be like a book reading app that you can use or something to actually type stuff out. But anyway, on with the video. Missing is supposed to be a Vietnam War parody that has parts that are inaccurate, but supposedly accurate. There's no such thing as toys in the 1960s. Magnitiles have nothing to do with the Marine Corps. Cursing, or profanity, is obviously prohibited in all branches of the military, and drill sergeants don't curse. And Jerome, who is the main character, does not exist in the Vietnam War. But the question still remains, is it as close toward being realistic? No. The bad news is that if people read the novel, or my novel, which is gone now, which I already said, then the results of this outcome of the novel is just going to add more fuel to the fire, and all the stuff I have written down in the novel is going to backfire upon me. A lot of stuff that may be said out of context, which I, again, can't get into what those things are because I don't have the novel. But I was reading through it a couple times. There is an explicit version that I wrote down, and there's a clean version. The novel is just known for being very explicit due to the amount of profanity used. But see, when it comes to novels, I only write 53 pages because I know nothing about writer's block, but I am a good writer, and I've learned how to write in my school thanks to the people that have helped me and reading specialists that have helped me along my way. I don't think I've learned anything in school, to be honest with you. I don't really plan on being a history teacher at some point. I mean, maybe it's something I might consider one, but I just don't remember anything, really. I clearly didn't do enough research to begin with. Writer's block is also an issue. Some of the pages are copied and pasted from the internet. The novel is also very wordy and has no flow or organization. and bad sentence structure. Now, I don't want to backfire. I don't want to attack myself and say, oh, I'm quote unquote a wordy writer, which isn't true. I have had people help me write research papers to make sure I have the right information. Because the thing with writing papers like that and writing research papers in general is that you need to make sure you get the right sources. So I know for a fact I have the tools to write a good research paper, and I know exactly what to do. But this isn't about a research paper. This is about a parody novel of the Vietnam War from a documentary that I watched in US2. What's funny about the novel is that the censored and uncensored version, the novel itself is around 21 pages long, but I would have made more pages to begin with, but the reason why I haven't is because I think what I had written down, I couldn't continue on with it. It was just like, maybe it's a short story. It's not so much a novel, but it's a short story. The discovery of Ben was a total wreck. The soldiers have failed to gather information on Ben's whereabouts. It was close to drawing near victory, but little did they know the drone technology was about owned. Magnitile guns were seen throughout the wastelands. Scopes above 200 participants, 200 meters, I guess, in Euphoria. Maybe the Vietnam War wasn't so bad after all. Due to one lost veteran that was willing to die or go missing for his country, which didn't have any effect towards anyone whatsoever. We spent 8 months prior to Ben's search, especially the drones and how they ruined our moment of truth, one soldier said. See, maybe Ben was shot by Magnitiles, or maybe he was not aware of how the Magnitiles were encased in a 2.55 magazine. It's said by a large group of conspirators that Ben accidentally fired an M1 Garand with a chicken head and thought he loaded in chamber rounds of .22 Parabellum. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a guns expert, but of course he turned out to be high on cracked cocaine to think that chicken heads are sniper ammo, which is not an ammo source. Soon the M1 Garand spun in a 360-degree motion. 360 no-scope, which was not supposed to happen, considering the fact that an M1 Garand is a sniper rifle, possibly to 360 no-scope. However, it was 300 degrees, rotated by itself, on killing accidentally a dog. There was an object that was spread across trails and pathways where a grenade on the ground was active. Ladies and gentlemen, the Magnitiles are about to fall from heaven. I'm done. Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is that this novel that I so-called have written, or no, I have finished by the way, but I've lost it. I've lost the entire thing. And I'm so mad that I've lost it. By the way, if I were to cover the novel that I've written or the stuff written down, it would probably gotten taken off of YouTube because of, again, stuff being misinformation and stuff being taken out of context. It's just like, picture this, right? Imagine the Vietnam War, but instead of it actually being real guns, it's chocolates, rainbows, it's strawberry shortcakes. The guns are chocolate. People ate the chocolate guns. They had sniper bullets that were literally chocolate. And they just had a fun time. No one died, right? Like, people got shot, but then the people that got shot, they just turned to, like, sunshines and rainbows and whatnot. And, of course, we have the famous Fortunate Son by Korean's Clearwater Revival. And when I told you guys a lot of this stuff will be taken out of context, there is my whole synopsis of the so-called novel that I wrote. No, the so-called short story that I wrote, which is gone, and I don't have it anymore because I failed to back it up. And I'm pretty sure that I'm glad it's gone because a lot of the stuff written in there is very explicit. Anyway, yeah, just thought I'd make a quick video just talking about this. I want to probably maybe redo the novel once again. I'm thinking maybe I should probably do a remastered version of the novel. I'm really bad at writer's block. But, just making a satirical parody or writing, which obviously this is nothing to joke about. But then again, I had so much good information written down, though. That's the problem. Like, it got removed and gone. Like, it was so good, though. But it's gone, and I wish I would have covered it on YouTube. But I should probably do more research on the Vietnam War itself and not make jokes about it because it's not funny. I barely learned about the subject in US2. Like, it was towards the end of the school year and my history teacher didn't even have the time to cover it. So I might just do my own research on my own time. I guess if I were to cover the Vietnam War, I gotta be best sure that I'm using context and that I'm fact checking everything because clearly a lot of the times I don't fact check what I'm talking about and I don't get my facts straight. So there you go. There's the Vietnam War, I guess, or what the idea I think of what it actually is, because of me sounding like an idiot. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sort of did. I'm worried this might be taken off of YouTube. YouTube might take it down because of misinformation and whatnot. But as I just want to say, thank you all for watching. I gotta do more of these like deep dive videos, and I gotta do more of these talking about stuff. But see, the thing is, the reason why I haven't been doing videos like that much is because I just ran out of stuff to talk about. As far as the HackerBot content goes, that stuff is over. The whole HackerBot timeline's already ended, so I don't know what to do. Every time I'm talking about something, I have to read it off of like a paper or something, because I can't explain word from word in my head about stuff. If you guys have any ideas of what kind of videos I should make using this format, let me know in the comments below. I went on to making the Yale Ranch Iceberg Explained, which that video got deleted, by the way. I might redo it again, but I see the thing with that is that I had so much good information written down, but I just lost it, and if I were to do it again, I'm gonna need help. I also have another idea of doing an iceberg of, well, one of my ex-friends. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna leak this person's name. Do not go looking for him. But yes, the ex-friend, quote-unquote ex-friend, that I'm gonna probably have Undertale music playing over it, and it's gonna talk about how I've been demonized by him and stuff like that. Maybe I'll do a remake of the Dalton Theory Explained, because I did that before, and that was well received, I want to say. Anyways, I'm running out of ideas. I don't know what to do, but if I do have a new upload, oh yeah, just to let you guys know, there's a new album that's coming out, but it is coming out on August 21st. I'm posting a lot more music now, so you're not gonna really see a lot of these talking videos. But yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.